สวัสดีค่ะพบกันใหม่ในบทที่79นะคะเราเคยเรียนเรื่องวิธีนำคำพูดของผู้อื่นไปพูดต่อหรือไปเล่าต่อแล้วในบทนี้เราจะเรียนเรื่องนี้เพิ่มเติมนะคะเป็นเรื่องของ indirect speech หรือ reported speech ซึ่งในบทนี้จะเป็นเรื่องของการใช้เพื่อออกคำสั่งใช้เพื่อขอร้องและใช้เพื่อให้คำแนะนำนะคะฟังตัวอย่างประโยคแรกนะคะ She told me to go away เขาสั่งให้ฉันไปเสีย She told me บอกให้รู้ว่าเป็นคำสั่งนะคะถ้าจะเป็นคำขอร้องก็ขึ้นต้นว่า She asked me to แล้วก็ต่อด้วยอะไรก็ตามนะคะถ้าเป็นคำแนะนำก็ She advised me to แล้วจะต่อด้วยข้อความอะไรก็ตามนะคะนอกจากนั้นก็จะมีวิธีใช้ reported speech กับประโยคคำถามและประโยคที่ใช้เพื่ออธิบายความนะคะนอกจากนั้นก็ยังจะมีสำนวนพูดที่ใช้เวลาเราจำเป็นจะต้องขัดจังหวะผู้อื่นเช่น sorry to interrupt หรือเวลาเราต้องการจะเปลี่ยนเรื่องพูดเช่น by the way ไปติดตามเนื้อหาได้เลยค่ะ
Unit 79 Reported Speech
Speaking and listening. What did he say?
Listen.
This year's best actor for his performance in A Jealous Man is Christopher Stanton.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, what can I say? I'm surprised, honored, thrilled and delighted. I'd like to thank my co-star, Victoria Parker, who was very helpful and encouraging, and also our director, Alfred Lucas, for all his patience and his good advice. This award makes me very happy and very proud, and I'm very pleased that my mother and father are here tonight.
In Hollywood last night, the Best Actor award went to Christopher Stanton for his performance in A Jealous Man. Accepting the award, he said that he was surprised, honored, thrilled and delighted. He thanked his co-star, Victoria Parker, who had been very helpful and encouraging, and also the director of the film, Alfred Lucas, for all his patience and his good advice. He said that the award made him very happy and very proud, and that he was very pleased that his mother and father were present at the ceremony.
Listen.
The announcement was made by the minister's aide. The public was not admitted. A statement was read, nothing else was said, and questions were not permitted. This has been discussed behind closed doors in the highest government circles. Our city streets will be transformed. Telephone boxes will be painted purple.
At a press conference earlier this evening, it was announced that from now on telephone boxes will be painted purple. Making the announcement, the minister's aide said that this change has been discussed in the highest government circles. 3 years ago, a similar announcement was made. At that time, it was announced that telephone boxes would be painted orange. Making that announcement, the minister's aide also said that the change had been discussed in the highest government circles. Following protests, however, the plan was abandoned. What did they tell you to do?
Listen.
These are your instructions. 1. Travel to Vienna. 2. Check into the Excelsior Hotel. 3. Telephone the following number. Actually, that mission was a complete disaster. I was ordered to travel to Vienna and to check into the Excelsior Hotel. They told me to telephone a particular number at a particular time. They said an agent would meet me and give me some documents. And they ordered me to bring the documents back to London. Well, first the Excelsior was full, and I had to go to another hotel. And then no one answered my telephone call. So I gave up and came home. The boss was not very pleased.
Listen and answer.
My boss makes me work too hard. What would you advise me to do? Talk to her about it, or look for another job?
I've been thinking about marriage. What would you advise me to do? Get married or stay single?
What did she ask you?
Listen.
The boss was not very pleased. In fact, the boss was not pleased at all.
Whoa, was that when you left the service?
Yes. Suddenly it all seemed ridiculous. Also, I wasn't very happy at that time. My wife had just left me. She didn't like being married to a spy.
I'm not surprised. Did she often ask you about your work?
Yes, all the time.
What did she ask you?
Oh, she used to ask me where I was going and how long I was going to be away. And when I got back, she asked me where I'd been. And of course, I couldn't tell her anything. Above all, she wanted to know why I was doing that kind of work. And that was a very good question.
What did you reply?
Listen.
And that was a very good question.
What did you reply?
Oh, I used to say that the work was important. Then she would ask, why is it important? And I would try to explain why it was important. It's funny. It doesn't seem important at all now. I can't understand why I thought it was important. Anyway, I continued doing it, and finally she left me.
Did you love her?
Yes, I did. Very much. I often told her I loved her, and that I didn't want her to leave me, you know. But finally she said she couldn't go on. I told her again how much I loved her, and that I'd be lost without her, but,
What did she say?
She said, you'll have to be strong, and she left. Oh well, that's life.
Fancy.
Listen.
Ah, well, that's life.
Yes.
Anyway, let's change the subject.
Okay.
Let's talk about you. I know what I wanted to ask you.
Oh, hold on. Sorry to interrupt, but before I tell you my news, would you like another drink?
No, thanks. I'm fine at the moment. But you go ahead.
No, I'm fine. Incidentally, I'm very pleased to see that you're not drinking so much these days.
I've reformed. So, what's your news? How's your work going?
Fine. You know I've joined another newspaper?
Yes. Oh, that reminds me. I saw your old editor the other day. He said he wanted you back.
Did he really? Well, he's out of luck. In fact, if I never see him again, it'll be too soon.
Listen and repeat.
Hold on. Just a minute. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to say...
That reminds me. Incidentally. By the way, I know what I wanted to ask you. I know what I wanted to tell you.
Special English.
English in Science and Technology 2. Listen.
Today I'm going to talk about light, and in particular about laser beams. Light consists of waves. Different colors of light have different wavelengths. Waves of red light, for example, are about twice as long as waves of blue light. A beam of ordinary light is a mixture of all these possible wavelengths. and consists of waves which are out of phase with one another, like soldiers all marching out of step, so to speak. This type of beam is called an incoherent beam. In a laser beam, all the waves have the same wavelength, so they are all in phase with one another. This type of beam is called a coherent beam. That's the first difference between a beam of ordinary light and a laser beam. This is the second. A beam of ordinary light is continuous. In other words, it shines all the time. A laser beam is not continuous. It is intermittent. Sometimes it's on and sometimes it's off. And it's off much more of the time than it's on. Because the beam goes on and off very fast, the human eye cannot detect the changes. While the beam is off, the energy for the next on period, the next flash, is building up. And when the flash comes, it's very intense. So a laser beam has a lot of power. The third difference is this. A beam of ordinary light diverges. A laser beam does not. A beam of ordinary light gets wider and wider, and therefore weaker and weaker as it goes on. Because a laser beam does not diverge, it carries its energy in a very compact form. Well, those are the three differences between a beam of ordinary light and a laser beam. Any questions?
Synopsis.
Dialogue.
Jeff, is there anything we can do?
Yes, do you need a hand?
No. Everything's fine. Won't be long now.
Okay. Jeff really enjoys cooking these days. In fact, he's been saying that he enjoys food more since he stopped smoking. And because he enjoys food more, he enjoys cooking more too.
Oh, talking of smoking, that reminds me. Did you know that your uncle has given up?
No. I haven't seen him recently. That's good news.
Yeah. He had a packet of cigarettes on his desk, and he asked me to throw it away.
Did he really? That was very dramatic.
He told me he'd just worked out something very interesting. He said he smoked 20 cigarettes a day, and he'd started smoking when he was 20 years old. So he'd worked out that when he was 65, he would have been smoking for 45 years, and he would have smoked 328,500 cigarettes.
That's quite a thought. Do you still enjoy working for him?
Oh, yes. He's a bit disorganized sometimes, but he's a very nice person. And I discovered something interesting about his character the other day.
What was that?
Well, when I arrived at the office, he was singing. So I said, "You seem to be in a very good mood." And he told me that he was singing because he was nervous.
Nervous?
Yes. He was going to make a speech at a conference. He said he always gets nervous before